Welcome, everybody, to our members and guests. If I could ask you all at least stand and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and get us started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So sorry for a little bit of the rush. I know we usually have some extra time to do greetings and talk. But we've got 5 students doing our four-way test speech contest today with 5 to 7 minutes each. So we really want to get started. So I just want to really quickly just say welcome everybody to our first meeting for March, which is Rotary's focus month of Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Month. Welcome to our four-way speech contest contestants, as well as all their families. I apologize. Normally we would introduce everybody, but I don't want to lose that 10 minutes right now. So I kind of want to just get going. But a special thanks again to Diane for organizing and being our contact person for the four-way speech contest. And with that, I'll turn it over to Diane to introduce how that's going to be run and introduce the order in which we'll be doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Oh, I'm so excited for this day. We thought we had 4 speakers and we have 5 speakers, and that's why we're just like getting right into it. What will happen is that I will introduce the speaker by their speaker number. The person will come up and speak. The green light comes on. I want you all to know this because we didn't have a practice session yesterday. The green light will come on at 5 minutes. It will stay on until the yellow light comes on at 6 minutes. The yellow light will stay on until the green light comes on, or the red light, I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit excited. The red light comes on at 7 minutes. With that, I would like to introduce speaker number 1. Please come up.
Good afternoon. My name is Mariam Kimberly, and I'm a junior at Urban Connections Academy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you all today. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships, and will it be beneficial to all concerned? These are the 4 main pillars of Rotary. Here at the Newport Club of the Rotary Club of Newport, there's also a 5th question that many of you have. Is it fun? Those questions help guide how we treat each other and how we build stronger communities. They sound simple, but sometimes life gives us experiences to make those questions much harder to answer. 2 years ago, my life looked very different. I went to school in person. I had a routine, activities I enjoyed, and friends I saw every day. School felt normal. It felt like a place where I belonged. Today, I attend Urban Connections Academy. That change was not because I wanted a different kind of learning environment, but because something very serious occurred at my last school, and I had to regret. That experience made me learn so much more about Title IX that I never would have otherwise. Title IX became a law in 1972 as a part of the Education Amendment. At that time, girls and women often did not have the same opportunities in education as boys and men. Many schools invested very little in girls' sports, and some colleges even limited how many women they admitted. Title IX helped change that. The law states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, denied the benefits of, or discriminated against under any education program that receives federal funding. Because Title IX, millions of girls and women have opportunities in sports and education that did not exist before. But Title IX is much more about than just athletics. Over time, the law has also been used to address sexual harassment, sexual violence, and discrimination in schools. Schools are required to respond when these issues are reported and to take steps necessary to protect students so they can continue their education safely. I never would have expected to need these protections, but I did. And I never learned what happened, and I learned what happens after student reports harm, how that can affect their life in ways they never imagined. Looking back, I began to think about my experiences with the four-way test. Is it the truth? The truth is that harassment and assaults happen in schools. The truth is that reporting it takes courage. And the truth is that response from adults and institutions can make a huge difference in how students move forward. Policy is written on paper, but what matters even more is how those policies are carried out in real life. Is it fair to all concerned? Fairness means much more than just saying students matter. Fairness means having clearer policies and following them consistently. It also means making sure staff have the training they need to respond appropriately when students report harm. And it means using trauma-informed practices so students who come forward are treated with care and respect instead of confusion or doubt. When systems are prepared, students feel supported. And when they're not, students feel like too. I did. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Trust is the foundation of every school community. Students need to believe that the adults responsible for their safety are prepared to help them. When that trust is strong, it builds strong relationships and strong communities. But when that trust is shaken, it can change how a student feels about their school and where they belong. For me, that meant leaving a school environment I once felt connected to. Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When schools invest in strong policies, meaningful training, and trauma-informed practices, everyone benefits. Students feel safer, families feel more confident, and teachers and staff feel better prepared to respond when difficult situations arise. Preparation is not about blame, it's about responsibility. Because when systems are ready, students don't have to carry out the consequences of gaps in the system. And here in Newport, will it be beneficial to someone? Okay. Here in Newport, the fifth question is it fun? There's nothing fun about having my life change so suddenly, but learning at a place where I feel safe again mattered. Feeling respected mattered. Feeling heard mattered. And when some students feel those things, schools become what it's meant to be. A place where students can learn, grow, and build their futures. The four-way test reminds us of things that we think, say, and do should be truthful, fair, build goodwill and better friendships, and be beneficial to all concerns. Those questions are not just ideas, they're standards. And when students face difficult moments, the answers to those questions can shape their entire future. My hope is that we can continue building schools where every student feels safe enough to learn, strong enough to speak up, and confident enough they will be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. Are we having trouble with the timer?
No, we didn't go to.
We didn't.
Okay. Speaker number 2, come on up.
Hello, everyone. My name is Avery Chandler, and I'm currently a junior in Newport High School. I'm a 3-time state champion, a member of National Honor Society, an IB student, and the president of Rotary Interact Club. I didn't come here today, though, to talk to you about sports, academics, or community service. I came to tell you a story about a problem that is very important to me, describe how the current system used for it isn't working, and to evaluate a potential solution. Throughout, I will incorporate the 4-way speech contest and address each pillar in turn. Almost 10 years ago now, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. It wasn't part of a screening or mammogram, but self-detected. My mother was lucky, as she caught the cancer while it was only in stage 2, before it had metastasized. Through chemotherapy, radiation treatment, and a lumpectomy, the cancer was removed and dealt with. Unfortunately, this positive outcome isn't always the case, though. Late last year, my grandmother, Jane Torres, her best friend, Vicky Simons, died in hospice after battling stage 4 ovarian cancer for over 6.5 years. Vicky battled through treatments, radiation, and surgery before her body finally gave out due to the accumulation of all of this while the tumor still grew. Vicky was one of the kindest people I ever met. For a while, I didn't even know she had cancer because she never talked about it. Vicky's cancer, like my mom's, was self-diagnosed. She felt abdominal pain before her diagnosis, though, but ignored it. This is because there are no detection methods available for ovarian cancer that are accurate, FDA-approved, or available or covered by health insurance. If there were these detection methods out there, she potentially would still be alive and here today. So what is the problem? Currently, the methods used for cancer treatment, detection, research, and prevention are not what they should be. This is where the first pillar, is the truth, comes in. Is the truth? Yes, it is the truth that, according to the National Library of Medicine, the average cost of approved cancer drugs in 2022 was $283,000. Yes, it is the truth that according to the World Health Organization, 35 million cancer cases are predicted in 2050, a 77% increase from the 20 million cases in 2022. And sadly, yes, it is the truth that if we keep using the same methods to fight cancer, the estimated number of deaths will jump from 9.7 million in 2022 to 17.1 million in 2050. Nationally, we must acknowledge these problems and the truth of our current situation so that we can fix it. My mom and Vicky are two great examples of why these issues are so serious. My mom, as lucky as she is to have survived, still faced treatment costs of over $500,000 for only stage 2 cancer. While I don't know the exact number, imagine how expensive Vicky's treatment was. How much did it end up helping her? Unfortunately, very little. My mom's treatment was thankfully mostly covered by health insurance. But what if you're one of 25 million Americans without this health insurance? If you multiply that number by the percentage of people diagnosed with cancer in the United States, there are potentially 190,000 people who are unable to treat or detect life-threatening cancers because of these astronomical costs. Unfortunately, these costs are only one part of the problem. Treatments, they take a lot of time, money, and effort to make them, making them very expensive and alienating the affordability of them for lower-income patients. Therefore, other approaches to fighting cancer must be explored. Luckily, there's one underutilized strategy on which my solution is based: detection. My mom, Vicky, and many, many others have to self-detect and bring attention to their symptoms because the current methods are simply not good enough or non-existent. An unfortunate example of this happened in Florida, where a young woman believed she had cancer, but her doctor told her she was too young to have it. A couple of years later, that same young woman died from that same cancer she supposedly didn't have. Leading into detection and dedicating more resources and money to research and accessibility will cause screenings to become more available and affordable to more people, reducing the occurrences of these sad stories. By emphasizing detection methods, reductions can be made, including the length of treatment cycles, radiation exposure, treatment costs, hospitalization periods, and complexity of treatments and surgeries. Now I will implement the second pillar of the four-way test. Is it fair to all concerned? Currently, no. But by leaning into the solution and expanding the accessibility and affordability of better detection, we can eradicate this unfairness. Presently, many people are unaware that they have cancer or are unable to get treatment for it because of the astronomical costs. By expanding our focus on detection methods, we can reduce these treatment costs and save more lives. At present, end-of-life costs in the year before death are much higher than the cost of the first year of treatment. According to the Cancer Trends Progress Report, this cost difference is over $66,000. We can drastically reduce this through the implementation of better and more effective cancer detection methods. Here's where I implement Pillar 3 of the four-way test. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Yes, this solution will build goodwill and better friendships, as both are based on trust, something patients currently do not have in their doctors or the medical system. But by implementing more widespread and effective cancer detection methods, patients will have greater trust in their doctors because of these proactive prevention techniques to use and the reduced burden of costs and treatment. Finally, I will analyze the solution using Pillar 4 of the four-way test. Is it beneficial to all concerned? Overwhelmingly, yes. By leaning into detection and dedicating more resources and work into detection, we can improve everything associated with cancer. Sorry about that. We can increase the survival rates of cancer. Hospitalization rates will decline, reducing the burden on staff at hospitals. And treatment costs will decline, increasing the availability of more detection and methods and accessibility for cancer detection. Less Cancer states that 40% of cancer patients run out of money within the first 2 years of treatment. We can overspending usually over spending 6 figures per year. We can drastically reduce these costs through the implementation of better and more effective detection methods. Through my speech, I've informed you of the unfair, ineffective, and expensive approach our nation uses for cancer treatment. I'll also explain how the expansion of better detection can reduce this, improve our current system, and the benefits it has for patients and care providers. My grandmother, Jane, was also diagnosed with breast cancer. During her treatment, she founded the Florida Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which has saved the lives of many women throughout her state. I would like to follow in her footsteps and do my part in the fight against cancer. I hope you all will follow her lead too. Thank you for listening.
Aren't these young people amazing?
Yeah.
I just want to give both of them a hand, and I'm just really looking forward to the other three. And with that, student number 3.
We'll lower this a little bit.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. My name is Rhianna Galicia, and I am a junior at Newport High School. Now, to give you guys some further background on myself, I am a public health advocate for the state, which means that I work with adolescents and adults throughout the state on a variety of health concerns. I also currently hold multiple titles in school, some of which include being the co-president of my school's Junior Optimist Club, the associate student body secretary, and the junior class vice president. Finally, I am very pleased to say that I am a child caretaker who works with children in a preschool, and it is the most rewarding feeling. For today's topic, I will be going over the power of belonging and applying it to the Rotary Four-Way Test. Now, before I elaborate, I want to go ahead and take a moment and have everyone in here reflect. I want you all to think back to a time in which you felt wanted. Now, this doesn't have to be specific. It can be a memory as early as when you were a child or as recent as today. I want you all to relive a moment in which you felt your presence was appreciated. Perhaps it was the time you held the door for someone and they said thank you, or the time someone gifted you a meaningful gift just because. For me, that moment is happening right now as I'm giving you guys a speech. What I think many people fail to realize is that true belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It demands that we be who we are. With all these roles that I currently hold and many more, I have seen and felt the firsthand impacts of a built sense of belonging. Belonging isn't just fitting in, and I think all of us can agree it's so much more than that. And I can easily say this as a person who has been involved inside and outside of school, having earned my school's humanitarian award. Beginning with the first pillar of the Rotary Four-Way Test, is it the truth? Forming these strong connections at a young age fosters a sense of security that encourages independence and self-growth. Through the feeling of being seen, children who later become students are able to build lasting resilience that extends into adulthood. This means that through the feeling of being seen, people we surround ourselves with, the risks we choose to take are the results of a cultivated sense of connection. Sorry, I kind of, okay. Yes. Belonging is a fundamental human need and acts as a necessary buffer against loneliness. Statistics in Oregon show that high belonging is linked to the 93% of students who agree they have friends in school, the 85% who feel welcomed, and the 91% who feel there's an adult in school who cares about them. The effects of the power of belonging are relevant. Its outcomes are the results of factors we face every day. And there's no denying that the feeling of belonging can make us happier. Moving on to the second pillar, is it fair to all concerned? The power of belonging has a direct correlation with our physical and mental health. It essentially enforces the belief of I matter. No one can feel they belong in a space where favoritism, exclusion, or bias exists. True belonging requires individuals to feel welcome. And by emphasizing a healthy sense of belonging, it can lead to an improved outlook on life. And by fostering true belonging in everyone, we can work towards the mental health crisis Oregon faces, with 45% of Oregonians reporting chronic loneliness. In my personal experience of my sense of belonging, I have faced a lot of challenges throughout my life. Up until the age of 5, I spoke nothing but Spanish. And as you guys can imagine, that made forming connections, communicating with my teachers more difficult than ever. But thankfully, due to the unlimited support I have received from my parents and my teachers, I am able to be up here today and share this knowledge with you guys. Moving on to the third pillar, will it build goodwill and better friendships? True belonging requires that individuals feel welcomed, valued, and safe. Without it, it can lead to barriers such as against a fair treatment based on race, gender, and ability. Through belonging, so now moving on to the fourth pillar, will it be beneficial to all concerned? As I reach the end of my speech, I want to make one thing clear to you guys, that when we emphasize this feeling of belonging, we are able to contribute more, lead more courageously, and serve with a greater sense of passion. Through true belonging, we can take these healthy risks and patch any feeling of unfairness or isolation. If you were to have one takeaway from this speech, I want you all to realize how fortunate you are to have received support for your achievements that has enabled you to be in this room today and be able to continue contributing more to your community. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Speaker number 4, please come up.
Hello, my name is Sean Cottrell. I'm a freshman at Newport High School. And I just want you to think, have you ever had any sort of unexpected medical emergency? And you were just taken aback when you got the bill, when you got the medical bill, when you figured out how much it would cost. And you thought, how am I going to pay all that? How? That is a perfect example of one of the biggest flaws in our country. Today, I will be talking about free healthcare, and I will be applying it to the Rotary Four-Way Test. Now, though the United States of America, somehow has the most expensive healthcare, we consistently rank lowest and worst healthcare out of all of the high-income countries. And it's just the amount of prices are ridiculous. To put this into perspective, a single ambulance ride can cost from $500 to upwards of over $3,500. The idea that the ride to the hospital can still be enough to put a family into a financial burden is outrageous. It needs to be fixed. And let's just think annual costs. Let's just think you're just living your life. You pay $6,000 for insurance. Then you have to do your annual checkup. That's around $400. But then you break your arm. That's going to be $700. Plus, let's just say 6 months of physical therapy. That's going to be $4,000. In total, in 1 year, you've just spent $11,000 on one single person with no spouses or children. Or you even go to any dentist, orthodontist, any specialists, optometrists, nobody. For a family of 4, healthcare in the US costs an annual amount of over $28,000, which is around 8% of their income spent on healthcare before paying for a house, any repairs, food, rent, mortgages, or even taxes. Now, though this is outrageous, we can still fix this. And the best way that we can fix this is by having governments regulate the prices of medicines and drugs. Because as of right now, companies can charge whatever they want, adjust it to inflation, change whatever price they want. And that is why so many healthcare costs are so expensive. Even an insured person can spend up to $320,000 on healthcare in their adult lifetime, an insured person. Now imagine if you don't have insurance, or if there's a financial problem. This is where it becomes vital for us as a society to make sure that this is a problem that is dealt with. Now, free healthcare won't just affect the prices. It will affect our country as a whole. In fact, if you look at the Global Population Index, the top 5 happiest countries, Finland has almost free healthcare. Denmark has universally free healthcare. Iceland has free healthcare. Sweden has almost free healthcare, and Israel has almost free healthcare. When I say almost free, I don't mean cheap. I mean they're built in a way so that you are almost always insured and pay minimal costs. This is what we need. And on this list, America's 22nd. Then the safest countries in the world. Iceland has free healthcare. Ireland, it's a little bit spendier, but it's still considered extremely cheap in the bigger picture of all the countries. It's still considered one of the cheapest. And it's free for anybody in poverty. New Zealand has almost free healthcare. Austria is almost always free because they make sure that everybody, or almost everybody, has complete insurance coverage. And finally, Switzerland doesn't have free healthcare, unfortunately, but they do have very cheap healthcare. And on this list, America's 47th. Now we are supposed to ask, is this the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial for all concerned? I say yes, the truth is free healthcare. Everybody here deserves the right to not have to worry about paying for medical bills when you have to worry about paying for so many things already. Then we ask, is it fair to all concerned? Yes, this will make the system more fair. This will make the government and this society and our society more fair than ever. Because what this is doing is it's making it so that no matter how rich or how poor you are assured that you will live a healthy life. Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Yes. Yes, it will. Because as we saw, a safer and happier country, almost all of them are countries with free or almost free healthcare. It will be beneficial to all concerned. Yes. Everybody in this room, everybody in this country can benefit from looking at all those other countries. Now, as we've seen, free healthcare leads to safer, happier countries. And if we should make sure that we have the governments regulate the prices of medicines and make sure that everything stays in check. So that next time you get a bill, you won't be taken aback by how much it costs. Thank you very much for your time.
Wow. Yeah. All the way from freshman to senior. Last but not least, speaker number 5.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Camille Keck. I'm a senior for Newport High School. I'll be talking about mental toughness and how the second best time to start is today. I'm going to start off with some quotes of whenever you wish you would have done something, the second best time to start is today. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but guess what? The second best time is now. Now, this quote hits differently when you're standing on a wrestling mat, and I know a lot of you have probably never wrestled before. And honestly, if you haven't, it's probably because you enjoy things like breathing comfortably and not having someone try to pin you down to the floor for 6 minutes. But to this day, I still think about big matches that I've lost. I remember walking off the mat after one of them. My head was down, heart was pounding, still sweating, and the gym was loud, but in that moment, it felt quiet. And one thought kept repeating in my head, talent wasn't going to save me. If I wanted to improve, I was going to have to work harder than I was before. In wrestling, there's nowhere to hide. No teammates to sub in, no bench to sit on when you're tired. It's you, your opponent, and the clock. If you didn't condition enough in the offseason, you feel it in the third period. And I mean, feel it. I mean, your lungs feel like they're on fire and your legs suddenly weigh about 1,000 pounds. And that's when the thought hits you. I wish I had started earlier. But wrestling teaches you something powerful, that the second best time to start is today. Now, this isn't only about wrestling. Everything I'm saying can apply to anything you do in life. Wrestling is just an aspect of my life that I'm passionate about and helps me explain this idea. Mental toughness isn't about wishing what you had done more yesterday. It's about deciding to do more now. And one way to think about that kind of strength is through the simple set of questions of, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun? Let's break it down on the mat. Is it the truth? Wrestling forces honesty. If you're out of shape, you can't fake it. If your technique is sloppy, it gets exposed. If you're mentally weak, the pressure reveals it. Mental toughness starts with telling yourself the truth. I remember after one match I lost in overtime, I walked off the mat, breathing hard, trying to catch my breath. At first, all I wanted to do is blame everybody but myself. But when I really thought about honesty, the truth was simple. I'd run out of gas, I was tired, my legs felt heavy in the last period, my opponent kept pushing the pace, and I couldn't keep up. That moment forced me to be honest with myself. I had to admit that I didn't train hard enough. I have to admit that I gave up in the last period and that I let fear control me. That kind of honesty isn't necessarily weakness, it's strength. Because once you are able to admit the truth, you can improve it. And if you didn't start training hard enough yesterday, The second best time to do that is now. Knowing the truth is one thing, but doing the right thing is another. That brings up the question, is it fair to all concerned? In wrestling, fairness starts with discipline. It means putting in the work and not cutting corners. Any corner you cut is just hurting yourself. It means respecting the rules of your opponent and the sport itself. When you step onto the mat, it's just you. It's not your teammate, not your coach, not your family, not your friends, not the crowd. Every outcome depends on the effort and the time you invested. There were mornings when getting up for practice was the last thing I wanted to do. My alarm would go off, it'd be dark outside. Just wanted to hit the snooze button, but instead I would get up, run sometimes at 3:30 in the morning, clock in for my shift at Dutch Bros, go to 8 hours of school after that, and then after that, on top of that, another 2 hours of wrestling practice. By the end of those days, I was exhausted, and at that point, the only thing that was probably keeping me awake was the Dutch Bros coffee I had that morning. Every time I pushed through one of those mornings, I knew I was investing in the outcome. It was hard at the time, but I knew that when match day came, I could step onto the mat knowing I had earned my preparation. Every win, every loss, every takedown, it reflects the preparation behind it. You can't go back and fix yesterday, and wrestling makes that clear because every day you get the chance to start again, to train harder, prepare better, and give your best effort. That's what makes it fair. When you act fairly, it doesn't just affect the outcome, it affects the people around you. That leads me to the next question, what builds goodwill and better friendship? Wrestling might look like an individual sport, but anyone who wrestles knows it's built on bonds. Your toughest matches often happen in the practice room with your own teammates. The same teammates who slam into the mat during practice, the same teammates who slam me into the mat during practice is the one who cheers me on loudest when I win. Mental toughness means pushing each other to improve without tearing each other down. It means encouraging a teammate who just had a tough loss. It means shaking hands after a match and respecting the person who just gave everything to compete against you. Because the truth is, without your teammates and your opponents, you wouldn't grow. Some of the strongest friendships are built through shared struggle. In my case, through sweat, through exhaustion, grind, practice. When you go through something that difficult together, you build a level of trust and respect that lasts far beyond the sport. And those are the friendships that stick with you long after the season over, beyond just friendship. Also, what will be beneficial to all concerned. When you decide to give your absolute best today, it doesn't just help you. It lifts everyone around you. Your effort pushes your teammates to push harder. Your focus raises the standards in the room. One person's commitment sparks a chain reaction. It's almost kind of like a domino effect. Mental toughness is contagious. And the discipline you build in wrestling, waking up early, managing your time, your weight, your mindset, doesn't just stay on the mat. It spills into school, work, friendships, and family. Every extra drill, every hard practice, every choice you keep to make to keep going, even when it's tough, benefits not just you, but everyone connected to you. Now that I've talked about effort and how hard work benefits not just you, but everyone around you, but all that effort can be, well, exhausting. So that brings me to the question I think we all secretly ask. This is so exhausting. Is it fun? I can be honest, wrestling is hard. Conditioning is not fun. Cutting weight isn't fun. Losing a big match I've been working for is not fun. But there's a deeper kind of meaning to fun sometimes. The kind of fun that comes from growth. There's pride to finishing a tough practice when you thought you couldn't. There's joy in executing a move you've been working on 100 times. There's satisfaction in knowing that you didn't quit. Mental toughness doesn't mean that you enjoy every second, but it means that you learn to love the challenge. You learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because often the things that make you uncomfortable are the things that push you towards growth and ultimately towards success. And success is fun. So when you step on that mat under any challenge in life, remember, you might wish you had started a little earlier. You might wish you had trained harder last season. You might wish you had prepared more, but wishing doesn't win matches. Starting does. Whenever you wish you could do something, the second best time to start is today. So whatever it is you've been putting off, whatever goal you've been waiting to chase, whatever challenge you've been telling yourself you'll start someday, today just might be the second best time. Because in wrestling and in life, toughness isn't built in one match, it's built in daily decisions, and today is always the best time to start. Thank you.
Wow, I am glad I am not a judge and I'm the coordinator. The judges and I are going to step out for a few minutes and we will get right back to you. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks again, Diane, for all the work you put in, and continuing to put in, and thanks to our judges. I just want to make a few comments for all of us before we move on with the rest of our meeting, and hoping that the kids can stick around, find out the places and all. But if you need to leave, that's fine. If you didn't get any food, it's okay to move around a little bit. But I do want to just make a few comments. First, to our members, I think we're on the right path. If you look at our areas of focus as Rotarians, it's obviously what our young people are concerned with as well. So we should be proud of that, in our areas of focus with education, environment, disease and sickness, treatment and prevention, all these things, we hear about them all the time in the four-way test, speech contest, but I think it was really apparent today. And so really thank you to our participants who competed in this. Everybody knows this is one. I will say, I wrestled, a couple of our other members wrestled, but coming up and speaking before people too, especially for young people who haven't done it a lot, it's not easy. And we've had Avery and Camille here before, speak before us sorry, and as well as Muriel and others. So we know that they're good speakers, but there's always a nervousness to it. It's not easy to publicly speak and put yourself up here, especially when somebody's phone goes off and you have to transition, or people are making noise or anything like that. And so we really appreciate it, and we respect the amount of effort that goes into it. But with all the different topics, Title IX, health, cancer treatment, healthcare expenses, belonging, mental toughness, which goes into all of those, and the underlying idea that if not yesterday, today. It goes with all of our areas of focus. So again, I just want to say congratulations to Rotarians as well, because it's clear that we're on the right path, and we're staying relevant. So I want to make a couple just quick thank yous because I didn't get to do it to begin with. Thanks to Michelle for being our greeter today. John, Freddie, Diane, our judges, John, Freddie, and Diane helped with setup. And obviously Tanya with getting the meal service lined up. Again, thanks to our judges for doing that part. And thanks to John for running our light system for us. I appreciate that.
I didn't have them prove me, but
it's not possible without it. Appreciate it. I want to make a few announcements. Our exchange weekend is coming up fast, March 13th through 15th.
yeah. They're all on us.
Diane's just making sure the rules are being followed. We got nobody went over time or anything like that. But so that exchange weekend, and Amy, I don't know if we have an update. Are we kind of set, or are we still looking for a place?
Looking for one more family, so yeah. March 13th through the 15th, we host our district youth exchange here. So that is 62 clubs from our districts and all the exchange students, inbounds, outbounds, and they all meet here for training. And then they do a fun talent show on Saturday night. So I'm looking for one more host family. For instance, like our family will host 4 kids. And if you just tell me what gender you would prefer or either, and you just feed them breakfast and get them to First Presbyterian Church where we take care of the rest. They're with us all day. So 2 breakfasts, basically, Saturday morning and Sunday morning. They can sleep on couches, they can sleep on beds, they can sleep on blow-up mattresses. They're not picky, so they just like being together. So, and we try to match up inbounds and outbounds, and what that means is, like Maureen, for instance, is our inbound right now from Belgium. Where did she? Oh, there she is. So that you're over here. And then, so we'll try to match up a current student who is about to depart this summer, but is also going to Belgium. But they can chat about what Belgium is like. And Maureen can give all of her hot tips on both. So, anyway, let me know. I think that's
transport, that will be your transport.
yes. So Lola's offering to transport if you need transport in the morning, if you don't feel like getting them there at 8. So, but let me know.
The other part of that is on the 15th is the talent show, and
Yeah.
whether or not you can host, please come to the talent show at the church. It's a blast. Kids have a lot of fun. Is it 14th? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Saturday. Yes, 15th is the travel day. I also just wanted to mention, in case anybody was interested, home playoff game for the boys basketball tomorrow night here. Mathematically strange. It's exactly as I thought it was going to. They ended up being second. Yeah, even though they're second to a team that ended second in their own conference. So however that works out. So mathematically, they're second, but they get to host a game, and then they'll hopefully winning that game, they'll be off to Forest Grove. If anybody was in the same boat as me as driving down to Walport and hustling back up here really quick this morning, it was ribbon cutting for the animal shelter, the New Lincoln County Animal Shelter. It's been open. It's been operating since January 28th down there, but this was the opening. I left a little late because I had other meetings this morning. Got down there at 10:25 for the 10:30 ribbon cutting. It was basically directed close to a half a mile away to park. That's how many people were down there. So besides the parking lot, besides all of Dahl Avenue, down to the high school, and then south further to Lee Street, which is the next one south, all of that full of parking. So it's really great support. And I completely underestimated most of the things the county advertises and says, there's 15 or 20 of us, and most of us county employees. So that it was both a little frustrating that I couldn't get a little closer, and also, but on the good side of that, there was so much interest.
And I had 12 elk in my yard this morning, and will they take? Will they take those 12 elk?
Take elk.
I have some too.
But part of it, this facility, with its fencing that we're gonna have, and all that, the nice thing about it is because we do have emergencies out here, we will have earthquakes, we do have fires, we have other things, that's a problem. And it's happened before. We don't have a place to take horses. We don't have a place, people don't have a place to do things like that. We, on an emergency basis, we can take non-domestic animals now because of this facility. And again, that's part of what you guys are paying for with taxes and all that. So that was part of the thing that we wanted to address. It's also going to be the designated South County emergency response area, because we don't have one. We make little contracts with the fire department to have basically a closet somewhere, and that's our emergency base in case of the bridge being closed because of an earthquake, or trees being down, or obviously we haven't had the earthquake that's close to the bridge, but if anybody remembers, we have had things like slime eels close roads to where you can't get around because of access, because we really are limited to just a few decent roads for emergencies. So it's a big plus for our community, and it addresses multiple needs. Now, if anybody's familiar with that area, it's got the big tower, huge broadband capabilities. It had all the things that we need for emergency response. And part of that, Maureen, if you see Zach, tell him again, thanks. Zach and Dahl Sanitation and Construction were one of the partners that made that possible. That was their property before he was willing to sell it to us. And that meant partitioning and easements, and it was very complicated. Lincoln County School District, another great partner. They're the sewer system that we linked up through, which addressed an issue that's been going on for 50 years there that wasn't complying with the law, and nobody knew. Came up from this, so we got all that stuff fixed with making that a public sewer system now through the school district, but we couldn't have done that with most of us know the last name Maloney because Aaron, used to be here a lot but his dad is the facilities manager still for Lincoln County School District. Great person to work with. and the city of Walport as well. And obviously our construction team and our architect. But so, I also wanted to give Amy a minute she put flyers out.
Well, I wanted to talk about Movettes. So our sister city is Movettes, and Rotary was a big part of getting that sister city program going in 1966. We were the one that sent the delegation over to Movettes, and they are doing they're doing an exhibition here about that history. And its opening is March 12th, September. And from 6 to 8, we're all invited to go to the opening reception here in Rotary. I think I sent out an email yesterday, but we are a presenting sponsor for this, and we felt like it was in keeping with our history as a club. And so there's flyers on the table. I sent some to you in email, but if you need more, they said to stop by and they'll print you some if you want to hang them up in your place of business.
So again, that's the 12th. That's next Thursday. They're coming up fast. So I will have a flyer, a newsletter out sometime over the weekend with some of these dates. But just so you guys remember, it'll be the same day as our regular meeting. And if you are kind of a history buff or anything like that, and you're going to see a lot of Rotary information as part of their exhibit, because we were part of that driving force. So I wanted to let people know that, let's see, so not next week, but the week after, the 19th, Students of the Month will be early this month because of spring break. Because while they're Students of the Month and they love being part of Rotary Students of the Month, they're not going to be here for spring break, most likely. So they'll be on the 19th. So please try to make sure you're able to come for that. Again, it's a lot of fun. And we have decided to cancel the meeting for spring break. There's a lot of people who aren't going to be here. It makes it tough on Tanya trying to figure out food. We don't want to waste a lot of food. Because there's not a lot of people who come, and it's either we tell people to, BYOL or whatever, and then some people get the message and some don't. It can be a headache. So we're just going to cancel that meeting on spring break. I'll make sure I get an email out. It'll be in the newsletter, as well as I'll do a reminder the weeks before. We've got Laura here. I don't know if Laura wants to talk about Dia de los Libros, and we can get a little flashback. I will get the sign-out sheet out to everybody.
So we sent the sign up for volunteering to the club, to Amy, to the leadership team, to see if anybody from Rotary wants to sign up, because we're doing Dia de los Niños again at the library on April 30th, 4 to 6. Primarily, it's going to take place downstairs, and so we're asking if the club wants to hand out books again this year and some other tasks. So share with Brian.
We will definitely get some signups.
And we'll feed you, and it'll be fun.
And can I just say it's great to see you again?
And Laura can be an interpreter this year because she's been my Duolingo friend for a couple of years now.
So besides the exhibit that's starting here next week for the Movettes, the Sister City visit, I just want to do another reminder. If it's May 14th, excuse me. And the district conference is May 15th through 17th. So again, if you're interested in that, let me know. I want to open it up. We've got a couple more minutes probably before the judges come back in. If there's any other announcements that I'm missing, I know there's a lot of stuff going on now. We do have people that have Paul Harris's, but you're gonna have to wait.
Well, Brian mentioned the boys basketball game on Friday, which is very exciting, but forgot to mention as a band dad that there is a Newport High concert tonight. They're collaborating with Portland State University, so part of their band's going to be here. It's a really great opportunity for our students to play with collegiate level band members. It's tonight at 7:30 at the Newport High School gym, and we will be there. And as well as I think Sean. So.
Other announcements, anybody? Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm not a member, but I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to Camille. She didn't mention this, but she won state last weekend and got third in the state for wrestling. So I just felt we should mention her.
Forgot to say that.
A lot of us knew, and I congratulate her. I wanted to tell you that one of the things I meant to say to you earlier was that, to just try to encourage some of the wrestlers, if they're not doing a different fall sport, or even if they are, to consider cross country. It's one of the sports that helps. So when I was in high school, the basketball coach talked us into quitting football to do cross country to get in shape for basketball. Not the smartest idea for tall guys. Some of them it didn't bother me, but some of the guys with longer shin bones had issues during basketball. It doesn't hurt for wrestling. You have so many other aches and pains in wrestling that shin splints in the body you have wrestling. But the extra conditioning, it's different conditioning than, the explosive moves in wrestling. But it is that third period, when everything's turning cotton mouth and everything like that. And Avery is one of the ones that does soccer. They do get a lot of soccer players to the cross country, but it'd be great if we got some of the other sports. It helps with every sport. Okay, I don't know if anybody will go next door and find out how close they are, because we do need to know if they're going to be done. Oh, what's that? So it's a membership drive type of thing. It's a membership thing that our district is doing, where when we get guests here, such as you, who are speaking, and you were doing it in front of this, we get to send that to them, and I don't know, we get 5 points for Gryffindor that time.
Yeah.
So the more guests we have, the more people we have, but I guess that's kind of the mascot.
It's modeled after a little dog at the membership. Yeah. Next year we send a picture of Mark. I know, right? I know.
Yeah, we're almost ready. Mark's writing the checks. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're ready to do the announcements on the awards. We might need a little bit of time to actually kind of finalize the awards, but with that, please help me welcome Diane back to the.
Would the 5 speakers please come up and join me? You all are amazing. I can't tell you how proud of all of you that I am. And the first thing, I don't have who's first, second, third, fourth, fifth yet, or first, second, third, and then honorable mention. But what I'm giving you is called a challenge coin from Rotary Club. And guess what? On the back of it is a 4-way test. A friend of mine who's a Rotarian who's not here today, Megan Shane, gave me mine. I carry it with me everywhere. So
Thank you.
Got 5 of them. All right. And I'm still waiting for Mark. So apologies and be patient. I want to know, I guess while we're waiting, would all of you like your notes back from the judges? I'll make sure, if you just stick around with me afterwards, I'll give you the notes from the judges. I want to tell you this, I've done this for 3 or 4 years with the Rotary Club, and it just gets better and better every year. You're all amazing. Okay, I am going to pass these out. Mariam Kimberly, you are an honorable mention. John, you are an honorable mention. Rhianna, you are third place. Avery, you are second place. And the winner is Camille Keck. Okay, and I have your money, which is really important too. Anyway, let's please give our speakers one more round of applause. All amazing. And with that, I will give the checks out and turn it back over to Brian.
So Diane, we'll take a photo after the meeting because it's kind of crowded. We'll take a photo of it.
Okay.
We'll just stay after the meeting. It'd be great.
Well, Camille can't leave because she's riding with me.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. There you go. And Sean, there you go. And there you are. Oh, that wasn't good. I might be a little bit nervous too. There we go. And
So thank you and congratulations again, guys. You guys really, really awesome. And Camille, good luck at the next stage. Hopefully you can compete in that. With that, I want to move it along basically to, we're just gonna do social media 50-50, or do you have a membership?
Membership was Howard Adams. Okay, this week's social media winner is our questionable judge, Marcia Buckley.
That just means you're gonna answer a question.
Is it the truth? Okay. Just the parents, I had several parents talk to me about this video. We videotape everything. On Sunday, I put it on YouTube. I'm busy on Sunday, so I will put, the video will be up on YouTube by Saturday at noon. Just go to our website, Rotary Club of Newport, and it'll be up by noon on Saturday if you would like to share it with grandparents and anybody else. And then the last thing before we do our 50-50, when I was a principal, the thing I missed the most about being a principal is I always felt inspired and hopeful when I left the building because the kids were so amazing. Sometimes, as now retired, I don't feel that way at times. But anyway, the kids were amazing. They are hopeful and inspirational and just very, very, very well done today. And our 50-50 is worth $75. And anybody but Marcia.
I know. I don't know.
Okay, so just quickly before, and again, if the kids can maybe get together kind of in front of the picture over there, the bridge maybe afterwards. But our next regular lunch meeting is March 12th, so next Thursday here at noon. And we're going to have, at that meeting, we're going to have a membership report as well as a kind of a committee fair where each of the committees will address what they do and why you should be a member of their committee. So please try to make that, especially if you're curious about committees, because I know we got a lot of new members. But with that, I will ask Michelle, do you want to take us out with the four-way test? If you're here.
Four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First.
Is it?
Second. Third. Friendships. Fourth. Be beneficial to all concerned. And fifth.
Thank you, everybody.